Hello, everyone. I'm Darlene Corbett, the UnStuck expert. I haven't done many Facebook Lives these last maybe 6 or 7 days, but I'm back. I'm not sure how often I'll be doing it, but at least 3 to 5 times a week. How about that? I think it's important for me to share what I continue to learn and remind all of you what you're continuing to be capable of. There's two characteristics, I like to call them ingredients, but whatever word you prefer, that I think helps people become successful when the going gets tough. One, especially, is tenacity. As I've mentioned many times, I prefer grit because you go against the grain of the tough terrain, but tenacity is just my acronym in UnStuck. It's in my book, Stop Depriving the World of You. I explain a lot about it, but I talk about this because so many people where the going gets tough and they didn't think they would make it, they do. Or others didn't think they would make it, and they do. And I'll talk more about this from time to time. I think the great example of this is Angela Duckworth, who wrote the book Grit. I confess I did not read that book yet. It's there, but on my shelf. But what I like, what she said, is the fact that her father said she would never amount to anything. And look what she did. It was grit. The other ingredient or characteristic that I haven't talked much about, but I think it's important, I've mentioned it in some of my speeches, is curiosity. I definitely have talked about this. I purchased Walter Isaacson's book, Da Vinci. It's about this thick. I love thick books, but you can only read so much, as I've said before. But I purchased it because he said Einstein received his genius from intellect, Da Vinci from curiosity. And look what he gave us, the gifts he left us. We can all be curious. We're not Da Vinci, of course. We don't live in the Renaissance. We're just not. And none of us maybe have those gifts, but we can be curious. I'll give you a couple of examples of me being so curious. One, years ago, I was gardening. I don't get to do that as much these days. And burrowing, I see the worms burrowing in the soil. I said to my husband, no, wait a minute, let me just say something. I know they are a low species on the scale of the world of species, but I said to my husband, gee, I wonder what worms think about when they're burrowing in the soil. And he looked and said, really, Darlene? What can I say? I'm really curious. Another time I said to a friend that was visiting with a husband, this is many years ago, I said, you ever think about like what happens when you die? She goes, no. She got annoyed with me for asking. I said, but don't you ever wonder? She said, no, I don't think about it. I go, okay. I guess she wasn't curious about that. I think most people are curious about that. In any event, to each their own. But I think being curious, you don't have to be curious like that, like me, but being curious invites your imagination to flourish. It really does. It gets you to think. It may get you to think of an idea. As Ian McNeil, my friend that is a very extraordinaire with Napoleon Hill's teachings and readings, talks about this, the imagination. It really is amazing. But you want to be curious to use your imagination. I think curiosity helps, like, the soil, burrow the soil, like the worms were doing, not quite, but moves the soil around. It gets you to think about using your imagination. And what am I going to say to you, as I always do? Anytime, any age. That's all for now. If you want to, well, there's two other things. I'm going to be starting a course in August called Dream Your Way to Success, based on my acronym DREAM. You can learn more about that by listening to me here, by going to my website and signing up on my website for tips to help you reset your mindset and get unstuck. I also invite you to come and watch Melody Beach and I every Monday from 1 to 2 on Unity Radio, 97.9 FM in Worcester, Massachusetts, Eastern Time. But you can also watch us by live streaming on Facebook. We are doing it both with each other, just talking about life and different themes, and we're also having guests. So I invite you to consider, if you want to share a message, please let me know or let Melody know. I love to share people's ideas. I love to promote people. I think that's what it's all about. We all helping each other. So if you have something you want to share with the community, a growing community, Worcester is the second largest city in Massachusetts, and it is growing leaps and bounds. The Woo Sox are coming. I forget when. The Red Sox minor league. They left Pawtucket and we still got them. But many more things. They have a world-renowned medical center. Many colleges are here where luminaries have graduated from. So I invite you to do all of these things. Again, please private message me or email me if you have an idea, would like to be on a radio show that I can get your message out. In the meantime, it's great to be back. I'm a little longer than I usually have been, I think. And until maybe tomorrow. How about that? All right. Have a lovely day. And again, Darlene Corbett, the UnStuck expert.